Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. As part of our daily series, today also we will continue with our daily discussion of news taken from Hindu as well as sourced from PIB. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one is with respect to corporate social responsibility (CSR). So what is the heading of the article is national priorities also key in CSR, corporate social responsibility. See what the affairs ministry has said that businesses need not restrict their corporate CSR expenditure to just local projects and must balance the local area preferences specified in the law with national priorities. See, basically, what was there in the corporate social responsibility is provided under Companies Act. Okay, so what is the provision in the Act says that companies shall give preference to local areas and areas around which it operates in its mandatory CSR spending. Okay, so this is what Act is saying. So now Corporate Minister Affairs has said that along with this you can also include national priorities in your corporate social responsibility. Okay, so paying for the overseas training of Indian sports personnel representing any state or union territory at the national or international level is now as of now only instance where activities undertaken by firms outside India will be permitted as a CSR project is what the ministry clarified. Okay, so if you are providing assistance to train Indian sportsmen outside India, that will also be considered as a CSR activity is what the corporate affairs ministry has declared. Okay, so remember this. So basically, what is corporate social responsibility? In general, it can be referred to as corporate initiative to assess and take responsibility for companies' effects on environment and impact on the social welfare. So because they are operating within the society, within the environment, so a number of there are possible negative consequences also. To assess that negative consequences and take the measures is what nothing but corporate social responsibility. So in India, the concept of CSR is governed by clause 135 of the Companies Act 2013, meaning CSR concept was introduced through the Companies Act of 2013. Remember this? Then India is the first country in the world to mandate CSR spending along with the framework to identify potential CSR activities. Okay, so first time and India is the first country to mandate it through a legislation. Okay, then CSR provisions, what it says is it is CSR provision is applicable to those companies with annual turnover of 1,000 crore and more, or net worth of rupees 500 crore or more, or net profit of rupees 5 crore and more. So these companies should mandatorily spend on CSR, and the act encourages companies to spend 2% of their average net profit in previous 3 years on the CSR activities. So this is the factual stuff you have to remember. Okay, so next one is with respect to Arunachal Pradesh tribal communities Chakmas and Hajongs. See, basically Buddhist Chakmas are Buddhist and Hajongs are belong to Hindu. Actually, they were displaced by construction of dam in erstwhile East Pakistan, and they settled down. They were displaced and they got settled in southern Arunachal Pradesh. But the place where they settled, they faced religious persecution. So now there is a plan in Arunachal Pradesh to relocate these people so as to protect the ethnic tribes in the state. So that is why this has been welcomed by the student organizations in Arunachal Pradesh. Remember this. So what becomes important is you can be asked match the following Chakmas, Hajongs, tribal communities. Where do you likely to find in which state? All those stuff. Then United Nations bans British stamps in Chagos Island. See, actually Chagos archipelago, you might have often come across because here in Rio Garcia, US has its military base, and this Chagos archipelago, as of now, Britain has a control and it has leased for US to conduct to have a military base. But Mauritius, there is a conflict between Mauritius and UK over the territory of Chagos Island. Okay, so recently Mauritius has welcomed UN Postal Agency's decision to ban British stamps from being used on Chagos archipelago Okay, so this is what UN Postal Agency, that is Universal Postal Union, has done. So Mauritius calls it as a victory for the island nation in dispute with London. Okay, so Mauritius claims that Chagos Island belongs to them, whereas now Britain is having control over Chagos Island. See, basically, the vote by the Universal Postal Union and United Nations agency, it is focusing on the mail sector. So, follows a long-standing spat between Mauritius and Britain over Chagos Island, where London and Washington operate a joint military base. So, Diego Garcia, there is a military base within Chagos archipelago, and Mauritius claims to this Chagos Island. Although Mauritius background of it, so Mauritius, although it has become independent in 1968, the Chagos archipelago remained under British control. So in 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that Britain should give up its control over islands. And later that year only, UN General Assembly adopted a resolution recognizing that Chagos archipelago forms an integral part of the territory of Mauritius and urged UN agencies to support the decolonization of Mauritius. Okay, so the island was Chagos archipelago was colonized by Britain, and they are yet to leave from this. Okay, so that is the issue. Is so what Britain insists is that the archipelago belongs to London, and it has already renewed lease agreement with US to use Diego Garcia, the largest of the islands, until 2016. So Britain claim is that Chagos archipelago belongs to us, and based on that we already leased the island for the use to US. Okay, to use it as a military base. Then next is with respect to liberalized drone rules 2021. See, actually in March 2021, if you have been continuously following the rules, in March, Minister of Civil Aviation has published the UAS rules 2021. Okay, unmanned aircraft system. So what happened was these rules were perceived by academicians, startups, and end users and other stakeholders as being restrictive in nature, okay, as they involved considerable paperwork, required permission for every drone flight, and very few free to fly green zones were available. So that is why they were considered as restrictive in nature. So based on this feedback, government has now decided to repeal the US rules of 2021 and replace them with the liberalized drone rules 2021. Okay, based on the feedback they have changed certain things. So some features are like the weight of the fully loaded unmanned aircraft system has been increased from 300 to 500 kg to include heavy payload carrying craft for use in logistics and transportation sector. So weight of the UAV has increased. So good for the transportation sector, right? One who are preferring to use drones. Then development of drone corridors for cargo deliveries. So that is also part of rules. And unmanned aircraft system promotion council will be set up to facilitate business friendly regulatory regime. Fine. And the other feature is the number of forms of the permission has been reduced from 25 to just 5. So there was allegation, right? N number, it is restricted to n number of paperwork. So permissions have been reduced from 25 to just 5, and no pilot license will be required for operating nano drones and micro drones for non-commercial use. So nano drones, micro drones are depending on the size of it. Okay, nano drones in nano terms. So basically, you should know what are UAV, right? Unmanned aircraft vehicle or unmanned aircraft system. So these systems, commonly known as drones, offer tremendous benefits to almost most of the sectors of the economy, like agriculture, mining, infrastructure, surveillance, emergency response, particularly during disasters, right? Transportation, geospatial mapping, and all these areas, the drones have extensive applications, and drones can be a significant creators of employment and economic growth due to their versatility, use, especially in India's remote and inaccessible areas, right? So we do not have roads and all, right? Connectivity is still a problem in remote areas. So drones can be used to reach such unconnected, inaccessible areas also. Then we have, in view of its traditional strengths in innovation, information technology, frugal engineering, and huge domestic demand, India has the potential to be a global drone hub by 2030. So India already has strengths in innovation, IT, technology, frugal engineering, and huge domestic demand. So there are possibility that India can become a potential global drone hub by 2030. So in that lines, already rules have been brought out. So that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below, and do download Topper AI's Institute app so that you get access to n number of these videos. These videos will be helping in your UPSC mains preparation. So that's it. Thank you.